We know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. The consequences of every act are included in the act itself. Power is not a means, it is an end. One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship. The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power. It was curious to think that the sky was the same for everybody, in Eurasia or Eastasia as well as here. And the people under the sky were also very much the same, everywhere, all over the world, hundreds or thousands of millions of people just like this. People ignorant of one another's existence, held apart by walls of hatred and lies, and yet almost exactly the same, people who had never learned. To think but were storing up in their hearts and bellies and muscles the power that would one day overturn the world. He felt as though he were wandering in the forests of the sea bottom, lost in a monstrous world where he himself was the monster. He was alone. The past was dead. The future was unimaginable. In the face of pain, there are no heroes. If you loved someone, you loved him, and when you had nothing else to give, you still gave him love. I enjoy talking to you. Your mind appeals to me. It resembles my own mind except that you happen to be insane. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. The masses never revolt of their own accord, and they never revolt merely because they are oppressed. Indeed, so long as they are not permitted to have standards of comparison, they never even become aware that they are oppressed. The essential act of war is destruction, not necessarily of human lives, but of the products of human labor. War is a way of shattering to pieces, or pouring into the stratosphere, or sinking in the depths of the sea. Materials which might otherwise be used to make the masses too comfortable, and hence, in the long run, too intelligent. It's a beautiful thing, the destruction of words. Reality exists in the human mind, and nowhere else. We do not merely destroy our enemies, we change them. Of pain you could wish only one thing, that it should stop. Nothing in the world was so bad as physical pain. The end was contained in the beginning. If you set yourself to it, you can live the same life, rich or poor. You can keep on with your books and your ideas. You just got to say to yourself, I'm a free man, and here he tapped his forehead, and you're all right. Perhaps one did not want to be loved so much as to be understood. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. If you want to keep a secret, you must also hide it from yourself. Doublethink means the power of holding 2 contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously, and accepting both of them. Power is in tearing human minds to pieces, and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Orthodoxy means not thinking. Not needing to think. Orthodoxy is unconsciousness. Confession is not betrayal. What you say or do doesn't matter, only feelings matter. If they could make me stop loving you, that would be the real betrayal. to die hating them, that was freedom. The best books are those that tell you what you know already. It was a bright cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. But if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. He does not give milk. He does not lay eggs. He is too weak to pull the plow. He cannot run fast enough to catch rabbits. Yet he is Lord of all the animals. He sets them to work. He gives back to them the bare minimum that will prevent them from starving, and the rest he keeps for himself. Until they become conscious, they will never rebel. And until after they have rebelled, they cannot become conscious. The ministry of peace concerns itself with war, the ministry of truth with lies, the ministry of love with torture, and the ministry of plenty with starvation. These contradictions are not accidental, nor do they result from ordinary hypocrisy. They are deliberate exercises in doublethink. Let's face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. It is curious how people take it for granted that they have a right to preach at you and pray over you as soon as your income falls below a certain level. Sanity is not statistical. Your worst enemy, he reflected, was your own nervous system. At any moment, the tension inside you was liable to translate itself into some visible symptom. In general, the greater the understanding, the greater the delusion, the more intelligent, the less sane. All the war propaganda, all the screaming and lies and hatred comes invariably from people who are not fighting. Freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 make 4. The creatures outside looked from pig to man, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again, but already it was impossible to say which was which. The only good human being is a dead one. Man serves the interests of no creature except himself. It is a feeling of relief, almost of pleasure, at knowing yourself at last genuinely down and out. You have talked so often of going to the dogs, and well, here are the dogs, and you have reached them, and you can stand it. It takes off a lot of anxiety. He would say that God had given him a tail to keep the flies off, but that he would sooner have had no tail and no flies. Do not imagine, comrades, that leadership is a pleasure. Can you not understand that liberty is worth more than just ribbons? Windmill or no windmill, life would go on as it had always gone on, that is, badly. I have no wish to take life, not even human life. Donkeys live a long time. None of you has ever seen a dead donkey. No one believes more firmly than Comrade Napoleon that all animals are equal. He would be only too happy to let you make your decisions for yourselves. Only old Benjamin professed to remember every detail of his long life and to know that things never had been, nor ever could be much better or much worse. Hunger, hardship, and disappointment being, so he said, the unalterable law of life. This work was strictly voluntary, but any animal who absented himself from it would have his rations reduced by half. Man is the only real enemy we have. Remove man from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. There, comrades, is the answer to all our problems. It is summed up in a single word: man. The 7 commandments. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. No animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. No animal shall kill any other animal. All animals are equal. All men are enemies. All animals are comrades. The distinguishing mark of man is the hand, the instrument with which he does all his mischief. His answer to every problem, every setback was "I will work harder," which he had adopted as his personal motto. Weak or strong, clever or simple, we are all brothers. There was truth and there was untruth, and if you clung to the truth even against the whole world, you were not mad. What can you do, thought Winston, against the lunatic who is more intelligent than yourself, who gives your arguments a fair hearing and then simply persists in his lunacy? It struck him that in moments of crisis one is never fighting against an external enemy, but always against one's own body. On the battlefield, in the torture chamber, on a sinking ship, the issues that you are fighting for are always forgotten, because the body swells up until it fills the universe, and even when you are not paralyzed by fright or screaming with pain. Life is a moment-to-moment struggle against hunger or cold or sleeplessness, against a sour stomach or an aching tooth. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Several of them would have protested if they could have found the right arguments. There are occasions when it pays better to fight and be beaten than not to fight at all. The stars are a free show. It don't cost anything to use your eyes. They had come to a time when no one dared speak his mind, when fierce, growling dogs roamed everywhere, and when you had to watch your comrades torn to pieces after confessing to shocking crimes. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.